Greetings, Starfighter. You have been recruited by the Star League to defend the frontier against Zur and the Kodan Armada. Get ready. Prepare for blast off.
Your fortress of solitude.
Greetings, program.
Glad you're alive.
Your sanctum sanctorum.
Resistance is futile.
Welcome.
This should be the first triumph. This is where the fun begins.
Proof positive that geeks have inherited the earth.
It's showtime.
It's time to get your geek on
You complete me.
with Dave Gramillion.
All right. Welcome here, everybody. My name is Dave Gramillion, and you have found one of the most listened to talk radio shows for geeks in the USA. This is Get Your Geek On, and here we are on a never-ending quest to awaken your inner geek by talking about all the products, events, news, opinion, reviews, and oh so much more that demonstrate that we are all geeks. Today on Season 3, Episode number 35 on Freedom 1160 and Freedom1160.com, we have a guest in studio. The guest parade continues. We'll be speaking with Ryan Duarte here in just a minute, the owner and operator of the Alamo City Movie Talk, which you can find on Facebook. And believe me, subscribe to them on YouTube. Look up Alamo City Movie Talk. He'll be on here in just a little bit. 2019, we're only 6 weeks into the year, and already we have 2 box office bombs. And I mean bad bombs. Just right off the deep end. And we have a third, maybe, that's coming up. We'll talk about what movie is probably going to end up bombing at the box office pretty big here, which also means it's time for our first box office bet of 2019. We'll talk about that as well. Any Xbox owners out there, hey, Xbox Live is coming to a device near you. And I do mean just about any device. They're going to reach 2 billion devices on Xbox Live. We're going to tell you how that's going to happen. And the newest, hottest video game out there that if your kid's not playing, probably will be playing here pretty soon. And that means, let's face it, you're going to end up playing it pretty soon as well. And then there's a bit of news. It's kind of breaking, but kind of not. It's something people have known for a while, but it's now coming to light. Vic Mignogna, I'm pretty sure I'm going to butcher the name, and I apologize for that, is being accused of sexual assault, apparently over a number of occasions. And we'll be talking about that, who he is, and what's going on with the fallout there. But first, let me go around the horn here real quick and introduce the man, the myth, the legend, our sound prognosticator, the man who pushes all the buttons, hopefully just the ones on the soundboard. Let me introduce Goose.
That's never happened.
Yo, you don't push buttons on the soundboard?
I push more. I push your buttons too, sir.
Yeah.
I don't see that ending anytime soon.
That's true. Yeah, unfortunately, that's true. So, all righty, Goose, how you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
I saw in the notes, and I'm excited because there's something I get to play later that's going to be so fun for me.
Yes, it will. We'll get to that here also. I was surprised you were saying you were excited because there's no DC news to talk about. There's not. We like that's all we did last week was talk nothing but DC news. So there's kind of nothing left there. So let's go ahead and we'll bring our guest into the studio here. Please welcome in from Alamo City Movie Talk right here in San Antonio. Find them on YouTube. They've got a great YouTube following, great YouTube service. Alamo City Movie Talk. We want to welcome in Ryan Duarte. Ryan, how you doing, good sir?
What's that noise?
That'll be your intro music.
Oh, okay. Hey, what's going on, guys?
Only the
How's
best
it going,
for you.
everybody?
We've never used this before. Not. So,
Yeah.
How you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
Not too shabby, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you are just all over the place in San Antonio when it comes to movies. Like every time I go to a screening, you're there.
Yeah.
And then you go to all these screenings that I don't get to go to, which makes me jealous. I'm a little jelly. I'm not afraid to admit that, but
Okay.
that's okay because you were just all over it, man. So what is Alamo City Movie Talk?
Yeah, so Alamo City Movie Talk is this small little YouTube channel that I like to call.
He was so small.
So small. And the beauty of it is that what I've always wanted when it comes to movie talk show is that everyone you can relate to movies, and it's the same thing with the when you grow up with whatever you grow up with on a daily life. What's your favorite film when you're a child? What's your favorite film as an adult? I mean, that whole concept of it and just talking movies, I was all like, hey, there's no talk show here in San Antonio that I know of, or slash like just anything but movie related, you know. There's always, you know, like you guys, awesome guys here. I mean, so many other any other place, you know, just nerds and everything. But let's actually get a movie talk show that talks movies, Oscar nominees, I mean, everything you can name, every actor, actress, I mean, producers, directors, all the way to the extras. And that's what we come in.
So you almost love the whole 6 degrees of separation thing. I bet y'all could nail that for like any actor out there.
Oh man, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, especially keeping up with everything. Yeah,
And there's a lot to keep up with. And I know we talked about this before. And some people say, hey, Dave, are you going to go do this? I'm like, well, it's not really a geeky thing, but I know Ryan will do it.
Yeah,
like you know, like the Pet Cemetery. Y'all posted the new
the trailer,
the trailer that came out.
Yeah,
but we didn't because it's not really a geeky thing. We try to go toward more of that niche, but I mean, you're just all over everything that is movie here in San Antonio.
Yeah.
Now, you know, this is the first time he's here. He's
It
never
is.
been a guest. Now, we did do the collaborative effort at Play Live Nation's grand opening. They're
We
on
did.
Playbook.
Yep.
You know, you can see it on our page, their page as well. If
yeah.
you want to go back and check out the first time we ever did anything together. We brought the San Antonio geek community together for that one.
That was awesome.
And that was it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was way fun. We had way too much fun on that one. We had way too much fun.
Way
We
too
made
much
Goose
fun.
work. We had him working 24/7.
Yeah, and there were like what 11 of us or something that sat down at that table.
I don't know
to
how.
chat.
and that's all because of Goose right there. He made it happen. Man.
That Mevo had its work cut out for it, man.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Now we're talking about San Antonio, but I also want to talk movies in general, much like Alamo City Movie Talk does.
Yeah.
The movie theater experience has really undergone a transformation in the last 5 years. I remember going to see movies, you know, back in the day, and I'm talking 80s and 90s, and it was the chairs. Maybe you had a cup holder, and you know they were in the rows, and their floors were all sticky from when people spilled their sodas, and that was it. That was movie
And it was
theater.
all GA seating too.
Yep, it was all general admission.
You had to get there early.
You had to camp out. Remember Phantom Menace? People camped out like the week before
That's
in
crazy.
Oh,
tents
no, I
and
didn't do
whatnot.
that. I was in line like 3.5 hours before, but still.
There you go. You know, so we had that. That was the movie theater experience. Plus, you had the arcades were everywhere. All sorts of video games. That's where I played. Like, remember The Simpsons? That 6-player. Was it 4-player?
It's 4 players.
And
that
then,
Ninja Turtles.
Ninja Turtle. That's right. It was X-Men. That was 6-player.
Yes, X-Men.
That big old fat console there and everything. So, but now, within the last 5 years, we've seen a real transformation in the theater experience.
Now there's alcohol. I mean,
That too.
Yeah. So, with that being said, it just, you know, when it comes to ticket revenue, I mean, you got to remember though, like you're paying for your ticket. I mean, whether it be like what $15 for IMAX. Remember, only like 10% of that really goes to the theater.
Yeah.
I believe like it's 10, 20 around there. Don't quote me on that, but yeah. So like around there, it's a small percentage.
I think it's 17.67%, sir.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Don't
What?
believe him.
I wish.
Just don't.
Hey, you sound believable. But overall, so remember, like it's about going into a nice recliner chair feel, and that's what everyone's doing now. Everyone's upgrading. I know Northwest just got upgrading too. I mean, they're still renovating, and the Alamo Draft House, you know, ever since, I don't want to say, I guess you could say they started it, to be honest. As far as the San Antonio mark, when it comes to food, like bringing food and actually sitting down at a nice table and having like your own how do you say it, like your own cup holder and, and then table, and then you order food, they come to you, you know, all that stuff, which was very strange for San Antonio to see that. Just like, what is that, like what?
Yeah. Because that's how the experience was before. Is nobody gets up,
Yeah.
nobody walks in front of you. But now we accept it,
Yeah.
as long as you're hunched over, which I'm sure a lot of their servers have back problems by now. From doing
They
a lot
should
of
just
it.
hire small people.
You know, somebody around 410, 4. Kristen Chenoweth would fit right in. That'd be
Washington's going to outlaw dwarf tossing, so just bring them down here.
terrific. That works. I like that. But now we accept it as long as they're bringing us bottomless popcorn and
Exactly,
bottomless
yeah.
sodas and milkshakes and whatever.
Yeah, and that's the great thing about it. Santico's Entertainment, Alamo Draft House, they all do it, and that's a good thing here. I mean, Santico's is actually locally here, a great theater chain, along with Alamo Draft House, I believe, is located. Their headquarters is in Austin.
Austin,
I believe. Yeah,
corporate's in Austin.
Corporate's in Austin, right? Yeah. So I mean, just to creating that feel. I mean, I love these theaters. I mean, for me, I'm all like, nothing beats an IMAX theater. Like
Why do you think though that they made this change?
To be honest, it's to accommodate, because a lot of people, they're just like, oh, I'll just wait till that comes out on DVD, and I'll just, oh, okay, no, I'm not comfortable enough. I don't want to go. Like, yeah, and also they make the seats a lot bigger too. The recliners are always bigger. Believe it or not, the recliners actually takes about a seat and a half.
Wow.
So, yeah, so like one seat and a half, and then that takes like, I mean, think about it, 300 seats in a theater. You make them recliners, you take half of that, you know.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying, ticket revenue and everything.
Which is good because I take up about a seat and a half, so it works out.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think between the two of us, we would take up 3 or 3.5 seats on our own. So, yeah, it seems like because I think the NFL and the NBA had this problem because TVs got so much better.
Yeah.
I mean, remember back in the day when we plugged our 8-bit Nintendo? Well, you may not remember.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
plugged in our 8-bit Nintendo into the TV that had only 4 channels on it.
And then you had to wait for the TV to warm up.
Yeah, to wait for the
Dang.
TV to warm up. and
Okay, I don't remember that. Okay.
It was only like a 13-inch screen, and that was it.
But the console was like 5 feet.
Yeah, pretty much. And now you have these 70-inch 4K TVs with the surround sound and the 4K Blu-ray player that's also got 3D quality and so on and so forth. So the NFL and the NBA had to kind of step it up because people were like, "Why do I want to go to the stadium and pay $30 for parking and $10 for a soda when I could just stay at home and get a really good picture quality?" I think movie theaters felt the same way.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing though, because it just you want to get people out of their house and get them into a theater, but you want to make them as comfortable as home. You know what I mean? And that's the key here, and I feel like that's the key when it comes to theater chains.
Do you have a favorite memory from being in a theater?
I do. I remember there was one particular theater. It was a dollar theater at the time. It was the West Lakes Theater. Right before going to West Lakes Mall. I still remember there was a Target right there. And the movie I went to go see there, I do not remember, sadly, but I do remember how envisioning. I remember seeing the seats. I remember seeing how the whole concept of it was and how it's totally different from what it is now. And it's changing dramatically. And I feel like we're in the next 10 years, the next decade, it's going to change again. Yeah.
Now I saw Age of Ultron in the theater on opening night, massive crowd. That was when the big fight was going on. Also, that's kind of what took some of the box office away. And one of my favorite memories is when Vision picks up the hammer for the first time.
Yeah.
The audience, you could hear people go, and that was kind of that cool experience. Was 150 people in that theater gasping when they saw that happen. Yeah. It's kind of like being at a game. I like to go to Kyle Field to watch the Aggies play, and I mean, there's just something about being there.
Now, let me answer this question: was it Thursday night at 7, or was it 12:01 a.m. Friday?
Yeah, it was Thursday night at 7.
See, we didn't even have that back in the day.
Yeah. See, I could appreciate that. I would go to Cielo Vista and go see the Harry Potter movies. The last, of course, Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. I saw at midnight. Wow. I mean, we stayed there camping there. I mean, it was just like, wow. We got there at 7.
I got you beat.
Okay, beat me.
And I regret this to this day. This is the worst decision I've ever made waiting for a movie. I got in line for the midnight.
I like how he threw that in there. Yeah. Worst decision I ever made waiting for a movie.
Yes. So I got in line at 4 p.m. Thursday evening for the 12:01 a.m. showing of X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Oh, that is horrible. No. Wow. Okay. All right. You got us all beat right there,
and
man.
I got my seat. I asked people to save it. I went to go use the restroom, and my seat was taken when I got there.
No.
Oh, man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is pretty hard.
That's terrible.
For me, I saw Jurassic Park in the theater in '93, and I caught the midnight sneak preview. But for me, that was almost like a coming of age moment for me because I got to go with my brother. No, the parents stayed home because it was a midnight showing, but me and my older brother went. It was just the two of us, and we were second row from the front all the way to the left.
Yeah.
Because we showed up at 11 or 10:30 or something, and so there were just no other seats available. So when they say, where's the goat? And the goat's leg plops onto the roof. I mean, dude, we were right there. We were looking straight up the whole time. It was like, wow.
The one thing I feel like every theater chain should address is the cell phone use. That's the one thing that they really need to address so bad, and it's that, I mean, because to be honest, it's a different setting when you go to a Santikos theater than to a draft house. A draft house addresses it right before they show the movie, saying, hey, you get one warning and that's it. You're out.
Turn off the phones.
Yeah, turn off the phones, and I love it because they always use like a movie scene or something like that, get someone to do it, And so when you go to Santikos theater, I mean, I love going to both. It's almost like I don't prefer one over the other. It's almost like I'm equally I respect both chains. They both do a great job at what they do. And so when you go to Santikos Theater, you literally see people on their phones during the movie, and I'm just like, it's not that I don't mind you being on the phone. It's just like your bright lights kind of distracting me from the.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it turns on, it turns off, turns on, it turns off.
So there was one time that happened, and I just angled my head where that teenage girl's head was in her phone, and so it didn't bother me. But then I had a crick in my neck after the movie.
Yeah, no kidding. Now, a lot of movies, so the Oscar season's coming up, and a lot of movies get nominated for this, that, and award, but everybody focuses on Best Picture.
Yes.
And it seems like every movie that wins is some movie that people have never heard of. It's like I posted on Facebook. It's like, okay, good. The Oscar nominations come out this morning. Time to find out what movie I've never heard of before in my life. And then it ends up winning Best Picture while all the blockbusters get shut out. Black Panther is the exception this year, but let's face it. It's like by and large,
I don't want to go on a rant about that.
Yes. So why is that, though?
To be honest, when it comes to stuff like this, when it comes to blockbusters like this, guys, I mean, like I said, when it comes down to it, everyone has an opinion on it, and it's great. We love hearing everyone's opinion out there, guys. Put it on in the comments down below, of course. The thing is that when it comes to the Academy hires a committee, and a lot of this committee is directors. I mean, it's pretty much people that have been in the business for Hollywood, And when it comes down to it, you go to originality, whether it be book-based or just, because you go more in depth on it as far as like just the action scenes, as far as like Marvel movies and DC movies and any geek-related movies. It's almost like it hits the visual effects category, and animation, of course. When it comes to anime, because I believe Spider-Verse is named Best Animated Movie, nominated along with what is it? Black Panther's also nominated as well. You know what? No, it's not Black Panther. As they get nominated in costume design as well.
And there's sound editing.
Sound editing, exactly. And so when it comes down to it, it comes down to what it is about movie knowledge. I mean, you go into the actor. I mean, it's almost like I'm trying to answer this the best way I can it's all when it comes down to it, it's like actors and actresses. It comes down to the screenplay, it comes down to the writing, it comes down to the dialogue. The perfect example I could give, guys, ladies and gentlemen, is Black Panther. Black Panther got nominated this year for Best Picture, which is I guess it's the first in history, I believe, that a comic book movie's been nominated for Best Picture.
I think for a comic book movie.
Yeah, for a comic book movie, yeah.
For most real popular sci-fi or action adventure.
Yeah, most of them get shoved aside.
Yeah, and so with with this one being nominated, I don't believe it should have been nominated, but that's just my opinion. Again, I believe Infinity War was a better movie than Black Panther. Then again, that's my opinion. But when it comes down to it, it comes down all the way from the screening room to the writing room. I mean, it's everything. And the thing is, though, it comes down to it. Again, I'll say it again. It comes down to it is the performance of what they do, and it's not just action. Because a lot of people love the pop culture movies. They love a lot of them, and it's very mainstream. Because when it comes down to it, it's always Focus Feature that usually does it. A24 that does the independent movies. Guys, Mid-90s came out last year. Yep. Jonah Hill wrote and directed that movie. You go into depth about it. It's more about independent. It's more about taking risk, and that's what A24 does on the production side.
And we're speaking here with Ryan Duarte, the owner-operator and main host of Alamo City Movie Talk. Now, I always want to end the interviews on a fun question. Okay. All right, let's kick back. That's all the hard stuff, but let's have a fun one. So, Mr. Movie Guy here, if you could put yourself on one set in any point in history, or maybe even some movie that's being shot right now, and you get to see one scene being made. Okay. You don't get to act it out. You just get to sit back and watch the magic happen. What scene from what movie are you going to watch?
Oh, man. It's a tough question because the movie critic and the geek come out of me. So the geek side of me would really choose The Dark Knight. There's this one particular scene where the Joker and Two-Face are actually it's their only scene together in the whole movie, and of course it's when Two-Face is on the hospital bed and Joker's playing impersonating a nurse. And the reason why though is because Aaron Eckhart actually talked about this scene, and it talks about how Heath Ledger, rest in peace, R.I.P. He's actually he's just doing this noise, and he's just like "Rrr," like for a good, like before there's no camera going.
Right.
And I would love to see Christopher Nolan work that visual, work that camera, work how he wants the movie to come out. And just to see, I mean, I'm a Christopher Nolan fan. I did meet him when I went to Warner Brothers about 3 years ago, and it was phenomenal. I loved talking with him. I mean, that was an amazing experience. Amazing
Very cool.
experience. And now my critique side. So the movie critic side I would love to see is The Godfather. Is the very first scene where he's actually playing with the kitty, and to see
Buonasera. Buonasera.
and to see that come to life is just phenomenal. Just because, I mean, believe it or not, I hate to say it, but The Godfather for me was one of my childhood movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, not to say bad parents or nothing.
Well, I'm
but,
about to say that's some childhood
yeah,
there. Wow.
Yeah, and I'll give you a deal you can't refuse. Yeah.
Very nice. All right, very cool. We're gonna talk some other box office news here. That a little more current than The Godfather. But first, we also want to let everyone know about the Heroes and Villains of Cosplay here in San Antonio, a sponsor of Get Your Geek On. If you're looking for a terrific place with a bunch of very friendly, warm, welcoming, inviting people who want to help you with your cosplay, who want to help you fundraise with them as a nonprofit group here in San Antonio. Very welcoming of all, any type of cosplay you can think of. Even if you want to make a twist on a cosplay, don't worry, because the people over at Havoc will help you out. You want to look them up on their Facebook page. Just look for Havoc, Heroes and Villains of Cosplay here in San Antonio. So now 2019 has already had two big box office bombs. The Kid Who Would Be King has made only 18 million worldwide. Yikes. And that was despite good reviews. It got 87% on Rotten Tomatoes. I just think we're tired of hearing about King Arthur.
Yeah, I mean, we're
sick of it.
What did we get? The last one was with Charlie Hunt.
And that one bombed horribly as well.
And this one had Patrick Stewart.
Yes,
it did. Yeah, and see, here's the thing though. It comes down to it is that the word of mouth. That's what it comes down to. Is it good? Is it a good movie? Because I've known the average moviegoer, and the average moviegoer does look at Rotten Tomatoes. It looks at it, and they're all like, "Oh, it's not rotten. We should go check it out." Or like, "Oh, it's rotten. We're not gonna go look at it whatsoever." And that's the time we're in, because everyone knows Rotten Tomatoes, and even the not average moviegoer is just like, "Oh, I heard critics said this."
Rotten Tomatoes, or Metacritic or something.
Yeah, exactly. And so, so I mean, like I said, it's a word of mouth, and that's the beauty of it. Because a lot of movies that I've seen so much diversion when it comes to the audience. You could see it anywhere on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score and the critic score, and so many times I've seen it to where it's literally like a 50% difference.
And proof that star power is not everything. Serenity's the other big bomb. It hadn't even made 5 million yet.
Wow.
And it's Matthew. Oh, wait a minute. No. I wish. I wish. This is the real Serenity we're listening to, but Serenity, this one starred Matthew McConaughey and Anne Hathaway, two of, I think we can say, the biggest stars in Hollywood. That one also bombed. Rotten Tomatoes, 21% and a D+ from Cinema Score. Is Alita Battle Angel next? The production budget for this one is rumored to be as high as $200 million, and analysts are already saying, nope, it's going to bomb.
Not surprised on that number as far as the budget goes, because I've seen it, and it's wow. The visuals are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, they're incredible, amazing visuals there. James Cameron, Robert Rodriguez, and so with that being said, the word of mouth, they did screen it early, and everyone. I was listening. I like to eavesdrop too. I like to hear other people's conversations and. Because I mean, these are the people that go. These are the people that talk about the movie, and they want to get the people pumped up for opening weekend and get, hey, this movie.
Oh yeah,
exactly. And so, what I was hearing was that people were diverse. It was kind of like, I like the visuals, but it kind of dragged. And then I've heard, oh man, that movie was amazing. Oh man, the visuals. I love the story, but I didn't like the ending. So then, I'm gonna give if that's okay with you. Yeah,
give us a score.
Yeah. So like just because we did do a review. Check it out on the Alamo City, Utah YouTube channel. So I gave a review on it, and I felt like the climax of the movie failed for me miserably, but it was very short and dull. but I did love the whole visual effect. I loved all the just how the story was going until the climax of the movie.
Until the end.
Dude, the
Yeah.
climax of the movie is, I mean, spoiler. It's like what, like not even 10 minutes.
Well, okay, wow. So it ends quickly then.
It ends. Yeah, I mean yeah. So I mean, and then the ending, of course, you know, it just. For me, it just I feel like they should have done it a lot better.
Okay. Well, when we come back from the bottom half of the hour news break, because we're coming up on that break, we'll bring Aaron back in and we'll do our box office predictions. But I mean, this is considering it's James Cameron.
So
And considering the visuals that we've seen, I mean, this thing is supposed to just tank.
you think it's gonna tank?
I think it's going to tank.
I
I think it's going to tank.
I don't think it's gonna tank.
You don't think so?
Nope.
Okay. Well,
Word of mouth.
well, in a few weeks here, one of us is going to be very wrong. So we'll find out.
Yeah.
We're going to, speaking of that hard break, here we go. We'll be right back here on Freedom 1160, freedom1160.com. We want to thank Ryan Duarte for coming in. Check him out. Alamo City Movie Talk is in the house. We'll be right back here with Get Your Geek On.
Thank you for having me.
I am Dave Gramillion, and if you missed the first half of the show, we had Ryan Duarte, the host and owner of Alamo City Movie Talk, here in studio with us to talk about how the movie theater experience has changed, talk about the bombs that have come out in 2019, and talk about, really movies in general down here in San Antonio. You can check out them on Facebook and subscribe to their YouTube, Alamo City Movie Talk. Goose, you're like, we're not even 60 seconds in, and you're like looking at me weird. What did I do?
Well, you talked about a movie that bombed. You talked about movies that bombed. There was a song in the 80s that sure as heck did not bomb.
And what was that?
Purple rain, purple rain.
That's right.
hate
Aaron
you guys.
Shapiro's back here in the house,
all
so
of
glad to have him back in studio here with us, joining us here in the second half of the show. And apparently, he brought all the water bottles with him. I mean, you can't see this on the radio, but seriously, I'm seeing five water bottles here. What is?
Okay, so
I'm sorry. Is
I'm
there
going to
some
explain.
natural disaster going on?
He heard about the cold front and he panicked.
Was the cold front that bad?
First of all, I'm prepared for Fallout. I got 3, 4. I'm taking your bottle cap, thinking that I got like 7 bottle caps right here. I'm like rich in Fallout. But second, I brought 2 bottles because I was like, okay, one for me, one for him. And then there was one here already, and I forgot why I got the third one.
And then there's one over there by
That's
the
not
soundboard too.
mine.
There are 5 bottles of water. Oh my god!
I was trying to make sure he had a water bottle.
Okay, so ladies and gentlemen of San Antonio, in the event of a zombie apocalypse, we're set. We're good. 5
got
bottles
water.
of water.
I mean,
And we're on the
dude.
12th floor.
Yeah, so we're good. No
And
problem.
we got, we're all a little chubby. We could live off like our little fat for a while. We get thin. We got water. We're good.
I
man.
like it.
We're
Very
good.
cool. All right, so we also talked about Alita Battle Angel, the James Cameron movie that is coming out that is supposed to have just absolutely stunning visuals, as Ryan himself confirmed, because he got to see it early, so he got to tell us about the wonderful visuals. But also, we want to know exactly what this is going to be like at the box office. So we like to make bets from time to time. Goose did not do so well when he bet on Ant-Man and the Wasp and ended up eating bugs as a result. Peter, back when he was a co-host, he had to go down to the street corner and sing I'm a Little Teapot for 5 minutes in front of the traffic, which was fun. Aaron, you took a pie to the face once upon a time, and I had to sing the Baby Shark song while wearing a Baby Shark hat on camera, which, by the way, you can find that video at our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/GYGO radio. So now we're going to do this one, and so we're going to predict Alita Battle Angel, $200 million production budget, allegedly.
Who's the director, real quick? for that one?
That would be Mr. James Cameron, director of Avatar and Titanic, among Terminator 2, Aliens 2.
Okay.
I have a question then. Is there a way to not see that movie and still get your money back?
No.
Yes.
Not pay for a ticket and still get your money back? I
You
mean,
can get a ticket for another movie and say the movie was so bad it bothered you in the movie you were in.
That must be
so
it.
then you get
Now, so the consequence for this one, there has to be a good consequence. So here's what
Exactly,
happens.
this
The
one
person who is the furthest away from the 5-day domestic opening weekend, because it comes out technically Wednesday night. So Wednesday night into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 5 nights. Whoever's the furthest away will be shot with a paintball gun 10 times.
are we wearing?
pulling
No
the-
vest.
Are we
No.
pulling the trigger? Who's pulling the trigger?
The other 2 people.
Oh yeah. this
So
will be fun.
like if I lose,
Okay.
you 2 get the shots. If Goose lose, we get the shots. That sort of thing.
But no headshots.
No,
but we're wearing camo, right?
you can wear whatever you want, provided there's no vest. You
I'm
can wear
wearing my same
helmet
armor.
and eye protection, but torso's fair game. Legs are fair game. So nothing like that.
So
no,
all
no,
the
no
heads are
vest.
off limits.
Well, you can still shoot them in the head, but they're gonna wear a helmet and goggles.
With him, make sure you aim low.
Yeah.
I never heard
I mean,
short
for his
jokes before.
chest. Oh, I'm sorry. Hit him in the eye.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. So, 10 rounds from a paintball. That's 5 each for the other two
Are we
people to
freezing
shoot.
the paintballs?
No, we're not freezing. What is wrong with you?
A lot of things.
No,
He's hung out with you for the last 6 months. That's what's wrong
nor
with him.
nor can you
It's
put.
made me a little crazy.
You can't put crushed glass in them either
I would
instead
like
of
to
paint.
point out,
You can't
I
do
also
that.
have 4 water bottles
Yeah,
to
no-
give you
no kidding.
for the zombies.
All right, so that's the deal.
Okay.
All right, so Goose, you haven't gone first in a while on
That's
making your
right.
bet. All right, now the rule is also you can't.
You can't pick dead.
You can't
even.
pick dead even. So if one person says 50 million and one person says 100 million, you can't pick 75.
Okay.
But you can pick 74,500,000.
So Goose, you're up.
Been thinking about this. I'm actually going to say it's probably going to do $50 million.
All right, so 50 million on the domestic side. We understand it's probably going to kill in China, but
Yeah, domestic only.
But we're America, so
America.
So we're going to do 50. You're going to say 50 million
Oh.
for Goose.
Directed by Robert Rodriguez, screenplay by Cameron.
Oh, so
Oh,
Robert
okay.
Rodriguez directed it. This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of changes my number a little bit.
Okay. Well, do you want me to go next to give you a little time to think?
No, I have an idea.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
45 million.
So you're going to say 45 mil.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit low. Because Robert Rodriguez, I think, doesn't do great in the theaters. DVD sales is where he kills it because his movies become usually a cult classic.
Okay. Well, then either I'm going to be way right or way wrong. I'm going 25 mil.
Ooh.
$25 million
Dang.
for the domestic opening weekend.
1/8 of its budget.
1/8 of the budget.
Wow. I
I'm
don't
calling
think it's gonna
20.
be that
I'm
bad.
calling 25 mil. I think it will.
We just need to go see the movie out
Yeah,
of spite
I'm
now.
going to now.
Yeah, you need to start like a petition or something. Everyone needs to go see this to
I'm
prove
going to call
me
my
wrong.
coworkers. There's about 500 of them.
I'm
I'm
gonna-
like, guys, let's all go like 3 days a week.
Now
We'll see it.
you're more than welcome to make your own box office prediction. If you follow us on Facebook, you can drop us a post or a comment at facebook.com/GYGO radio. We have over 30,000 followers, so please knock yourself out. If you're watching us on our chat, which we do on Thursdays, you can drop your comment now. But we want to hear your box office prediction for Alita Battle Angel.
People are underbidding even you.
What?
Are you serious?
Yes.
What do we got in the chat?
15 mil is the lowest.
Philip Gilbert says 15 mil. Woo!
I think, you know what? If it was released after a video game called Cyberpunk, I think it would have a better chance.
It might.
Because Cyberpunk is that like kind of that same feel, but they're not coinciding. So I think that's gonna hurt them.
We'll see. It's going to be real interesting considering it's just such a big box office budget film. But yeah, I'm calling 25. Goose called 50 and Aaron called 45 million. So we'll see who is closest. And next week we'll take a little trip maybe out to a paintball
So we
range.
know
to get
Aaron's
shot
not
at.
getting shot.
I played safe.
Well, unless it's like 26 mil.
No.
No, because then he's still
Oh,
further
because he's
away.
furthest away. Oh, that's right. So Aaron is safe.
That's why I wanted to go second.
Okay, so it comes down to
Played it
Goose and myself. We'll
No,
see.
the trick is to go last and then just pick close to one of the others. But
Unless it,
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, that's true, I
Yeah, that's
guess.
true. Okay, alrighty. So an excellent bet that you can make also is to head over to our friends over at Dragon's Lair of Alamo Ranch out on the west side of San Antonio, off of Highway 151 and 1604. Guys, I'm telling you, they had a Miyazaki film watching experience that they had. So you know it's more than just comics and graphic novels and games. They have games that they will be more than happy to teach you how to play. They have classes that you can come. I mean, not like college courses where you pay way too much for it, but you can just come in with a bunch of friends, sit down, and their staff will show you how to play certain games. You can do painting on your models there as well. There's so much to do. The sheer variety alone is what makes a trip out to Alamo Ranch to see Dragon's Lair well worth your while. Alrighty, so with that being said, let's go ahead and shift gears and let's talk. We're going to go from tabletop gaming to some video game news. Alrighty, so are you an Xbox Live member?
Yes.
Are you frustrated the fact that you can only play it on, close to your Xbox Live and that's about it?
Yes.
Well, that's all about to change because Microsoft made a big time announcement this week that game developers will now connect players between iOS, Android, and the Nintendo Switch in addition to Xbox on your Microsoft Store and any Windows computer.
So yeah, don't forget Windows.
On any Windows computer. I was getting there. So that means that probably within the next, it's not going to be immediate. It's going to roll out. But you're looking at having Xbox Live on 2 billion devices.
And you can get your achievements on any of the devices.
On
'Cause
any
let's face
device.
it, that's what we all want. We
Oh,
want
yeah.
our
Well,
achievements.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's all I play it for.
2 billion devices.
That was the smartest move Microsoft, I think, could have made.
If you're Sony, how big are you freaking out about this?
Sony, I don't think cares right now because they are still on top.
They are,
They
yes.
know Nintendo and Xbox are trying to figure out how to stay relevant because let's face it, Sony's sitting up there in their nice big comfy chair. We still made our millions. We're good.
They are now, but this is such a big move.
It is.
This could, like they say in Star Trek, it's a fundamental shift of power in the quadrant. This is huge.
I think this was their smartest move to make to play relevance to everybody because like you can go into anything now and hey, I have Fortnite on my Switch. I can now play Xbox Live instead, and I can play with my Xbox friends on here instead of on my Switch. I want my achievements, so that's why I would be happy.
Yeah, you can really play it on the go and stay connected to that network. That's the key. Yes, you can play Fortnite on just about anything now, but if you keep it on your Xbox Live network, now you get the achievements, you get your friends list, and you don't have to have someone say, "Oh man, sorry, I've got the Switch, but I don't have Xbox."
So this was like
Yeah,
a cloud version
it's-
of Neo Geo.
It almost is.
Yeah.
That's a good way of looking at it.
And the fact is, you have access to the Game Pass. So I believe some of the Game Pass games are going to be on these devices if they're capable of it.
So this is
That'd be fun.
huge. This is really huge. I wonder what Sony's going to do. There are rumors about the PS5. I've heard the PSX. I've heard whatever the next gen console is. But as far as being connected, this is huge.
They're not going to do it. So this was what happened last console war with the 360 and the PlayStation 3. Xbox was on top, and PlayStation at that time was like, well, let's do cross-platform play because we're not doing good. And Xbox was like, nah, we're on top. We're good. And now that the tables have shifted, Microsoft's like, well, we're not on top. So now they want to play ball.
Yep.
But Nintendo's not on top either. So they're like, yeah, we'll play ball with you. I think that PlayStation will either catch on and say, you know what, we should all work together. Or they're just going to say, you know what, no, we got plenty of first-party games. We'll be good.
We got Grand Theft Auto. We're fine.
Yeah, we're fine.
No
And the
worries.
thing about Nintendo,
We got PUBG.
Nintendo hasn't really been number one since since actually PlayStation 2 came
Yeah,
around more.
Yeah.
the PS2 really took
the
a whack at 'em.
N64 was the last premier console that Nintendo had.
That's true. The GameCube just wasn't.
As far as general public. Now you have Nintendo since the Wii has been more family oriented,
Right.
where PlayStation has been more like single player gamer oriented.
That's true. I can see where you're coming from on that.
Absolutely.
And the Switch really helped. Let's face it, the Switch saved Nintendo.
Yes,
This
it
was
did.
their
Yeah.
home run. If they didn't hit this out of the park, they were done.
This is like a Barry
So-
Bonds shot. This is like
Oh, yeah.
600 feet out, considering how well the Switch is done. And now they're going to integrate Xbox Live. If I'm Sony, I'm going to start to sweat just a little bit.
I hope so. I hope they do. Rumor has it, and don't quote me.
Rumor has it.
Rumor has it. The dev kits for the PlayStation 5 are in developer hands. I've talked to a couple random people, and they would never confirm or deny it. So I'm like, okay. And some news articles have pointed it. It's out there. So PlayStation may be finally saying, okay, they backed out of E3. So the next big conference is probably going to be something on their own for the Sony devices. That's when we'll find out if they're going to do anything.
This does set a very interesting stage for E3.
Yeah. I mean, it's just
very
Microsoft
interesting.
out there.
Pretty much. But now I know Sony backed out, but there's still time to get back in it.
And they
Just saying.
might. They might say, okay, sorry, we're coming back,
They
guys.
just might. Because, Sony was here at PAX South in San Antonio, but there wasn't a single Sony rep.
No, it was just their first party games.
That was it.
Days Gone was there, and who else did they have there?
I think that was it. Like volunteers, basically.
Yeah, because it was just Days Gone was their biggest because every other game was on multiple platforms. So
Now, speaking of big games, this one came right out of nowhere. If you're not playing this, your kid's probably playing it. And if your kid's not playing it, then more than likely you're playing it anyway.
and you're watching it.
And that's called Apex Legends. This game came out of nowhere. It's a free-to-play game that you can find right now on a number of devices. But there were 2.5 million users in the first 24 hours. It had 10 million in 3 days. They had 600,000 concurrent players on a Tuesday.
Yeah, on a Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. I was watching one guy, and it was Tim the Tapman. Had 41,000 people watching him at 12:20 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
41,000 people watching him on Twitch. This, in my opinion, this demonstrates two things. One, first of all, this game's actually kind of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a PUBG killer. That remains to be seen.
Or Fortnite.
Or a Fortnite killer.
Yeah.
But it needs to have that staying power. But already it shows me that the public is hungry for something new.
Is Apex available on mobile?
It's on PC, Xbox, PlayStation, I believe.
But
right
not
now.
iOS?
I don't think it's mobile yet.
No,
So
not
yeah,
yet.
no, it's not a PUBG killer for me.
No, not yet. We'll see. Again, it
Yeah.
has to have the staying power. But so people are hungry. That's what it's
Right.
telling me. And the second thing is, you don't need marketing for video games anymore.
No, they just dropped it.
Well, what they did was that they reached out to like the top 10 or so streamers on
Oh,
Twitch.
they did.
And they
That's
said,
true.
"Hey, will you beta preview this? Will you if we hook you up with power ups and whatnot, will you play the game in front of your 40, 50, 100,000 people out there?" And they said, "Yeah, no problem." And so all these people saw it on Twitch, wanted to play it, but couldn't. And so then that's when they dropped it, and then all of a sudden everybody went out to go get it.
And to comment on that, EA is the publisher for this one, so that's how they were able to have that buying power for these Twitch users.
Now, Apex Legends, what is the game? It is a battle royale extremely similar to what PUBG is. All right, you have a map. It's you and your mates. You fly in, literally fly in off the dropship, and then you have to fight in this battlefield in a circle that gets smaller and smaller and smaller as the game goes on. You get power-ups, you get different weapons, you get shields, you get little gas grenades you can throw out, and you know there is a wide variety. That's what I like about it. You know, somebody can lay down something that tears a little wormhole, and you run through it, and boom, you're on the other side of the map, which is great. But just keep in mind, it is a lot like PUBG in that battle royale style. Now, Twitch is also putting on a challenge, a competition. The Twitch Rivals Apex Legends Challenge will be the 12th through the 19th of this month. Will feature 48 streamers competing for $200,000 in prizes.
Already.
Yeah.
Already.
EA's
The game
dumping
just
that
dropped.
money. EA has the money for it. Now, Respawn, so kind of backtracking a little bit, Apex Legends, I don't know if you know this, is part of the Titanfall universe.
That's correct.
So Titanfall is Respawn's probably biggest games. It came out on the Xbox One originally, the first one. The second one came out a couple years ago. This is their technically third installment for the franchise, and the fourth one coming out later this year. So Respawn knows how to take care of their people. They know what people want.
It's really impressive what they've done with this in such
Yeah.
a short amount of time. And it's still amazing. It shows how broad and vast the gaming community is that so many people have still not heard of this thing yet, even though you have 2.5 million that signed up in the first 24 hours and 10 million people in 3 days. Mom and dad, better listen up. This is the hot game that your kid's going to be playing.
Oh, yeah. And there's already a few of us at my job, including myself, have already been playing it. And the intensity of this one versus Fortnite and PUBG, oh my gosh, it's crazy. I don't know how to explain it, but you have also classes where the other ones don't have something like that.
That's true. In PUBG, you're just a person.
Yeah. And this
In
one,
Fortnite, you're just a person.
you're a cartoony person. You can change, I think.
Actually, in
Yeah.
PUBG, you start off as a person in your underwear.
Well, yeah, that's true as
I
well.
do. I never find pants. I just run around in that. Who needs the pants? There's no pants here.
It's virtual world. You don't care about mosquitoes or fire ants.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
Who needs that?
So that's the big game that everyone's talking about right now is Apex Legends, APEX Legends. If you haven't looked it up by now, it's a lot of fun. The pace, if you think of a PUBG game versus Fortnite versus this feels more like an Overwatch pace.
It is. It is very fast and furious. Every time we've dropped in, we're in a hot zone. There's at least 2 or 3 other squads there, and we don't make it usually. I think I took out one guy, grabbed his shotgun. He had 4 bullets, took out another guy. I ran down one hallway. One guy started shooting at me. I turned around, ran the other way, turned where I came from. Another guy's there already shooting me. I run down another hallway, another one, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to die right here now.
And that was it. Now, a great place that you also want to go gaming at. And we want to welcome back a sponsor here, and that's Laser Legend. Laser Legend was a sponsor of us for the longest time. Took a little bit of a hiatus from advertising, which is cool. No problem. It's all good. And now they're back because they want to be back on the air with us. In fact, I was able to go by there, and they're off of 1604 and Lookout Road on the far north side. They're not quite to 35, and they're not quite to Rolling Oaks Mall. They're kind of in between there, which, since you're going to go check out the new IKEA anyway, you might as well go laser tagging up there at Laser Legend. So these guys, they've put in an escape room now, which everybody loves a good escape room. And so this one is really a lot of fun. So there's an escape room up there for all the adults. They also have some massage chairs up there for when, your kids are off playing laser tag, you can have a seat. They still have their 2-floor laser tag arena. They also have indoor miniature golf. So no matter what, the weather's been all up and down. It went from like 75 to 45 when you blink, but it doesn't matter because it's all indoors. They still have great food, great drinks. They still have a great arcade, and they've added a second pinball game. And I just owned it. I went in there, and I kid you not, I set 6 different records up there on Star Wars pinball. Yeah, buddy. So Goose and I remember we had a lot of great times up there. I imagine that if you go up there, you're going to have a great time up there as well. It's Laser Legend on the north side of San Antonio off of Lookout Road in 1604. All right, so we're going to kind of close off on some sobering news, and I'm not sure what to think of this just yet. Voice actor, and I'm gonna butcher the name, and I apologize, but it's Vic McJona?
Mignogna?
How about we call him Vic?
Vic.
So he was Broly in the recent movie that we talked about just last week, the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. He's been Broly before. He was also Captain Kirk in the series Star Trek Continues. He directed an episode of that as well. Yeah, it appears he likes to get a little too friendly with underage girls at Comic-Cons.
That's not good.
Not at all.
Yeah. And again, I want to caution our listeners about this because there's a lot of talk about this, but there have been no criminal complaints, no civil suits, no formal charges that have been brought. However, there are some rather incriminating, I think that's a good word, photos, including one where he has this girl is wearing a denim jacket, and he's giving her a hug like actors tend to do, but he's got his right hand slipped under the jacket. So a lot of these photos, they make you kind of tilt your head and go, I don't know. But we've been to enough Comic-Cons to know that celebrities like to hug and hold people close. And
things that make you go, ew.
I mean, there's one picture of John Barrowman where there are 4 ladies grabbing his butt.
Yeah, and Avril Lavigne wants like a 4-foot radius.
Yeah, and we know Rick Moranis was the same way. Rick Moranis was like, no hugs, nothing
Did he
like
not
that.
do photo ops?
He did photo ops,
Okay.
but he was kind
It was VIP only.
He was
though.
standoffish. So,
He really was.
but John Barrowman is like, whatever, I don't care. So we have this guy now, and there are multiple accusations coming out, but nothing really formal that's been filed. However, he has now been removed. I guess you could say fired, asked not to come back to the RWBY series
Ruby.
with
Rooster Teeth. Yeah.
Rooster Teeth.
And
they've invited him not to come back to Ruby.
Yeah.
And now Funimation has said, yeah, we don't want you back either. So he's out of two companies there. And now a list has come out of all the Comic-Cons in 2019 that he's been told you're not coming back to. And that's Anime NYC, Kamehacon UK, Raleigh SuperCon, Florida SuperCon, Ranger Stop and Pop, Phoenix Fan Fusion, Kamehacon. Oh, I guess I got that one.
No, that's the Comic-Con, I think, in Houston or Texas, isn't it?
I think so. Kauai-Con out in Hawaii, Emerald City Comic-Con, which I went to last year, the Comic-Con, Anime Milwaukee, Ancient City Con, Planet Comic-Con is listed as a canceled appearance.
How do we get invited to Kauai Con, where they pay for airfare and hotel?
Wouldn't that be
Can we do
nice?
that? How do we do that?
How do we do that? I
I
want to
have
know.
3 bottles of water to offer them,
Only 3. What happened to the 4th? You drink it already?
baby.
Okay. Man. So that's a number of Comic Cons that he's been yanked from already. Now my gut says, and I was talking about this in production meetings. My gut says jump on this guy because he seems like a real jerk who is getting too friendly with the ladies. And I've heard anecdotal stories about his behavior and comments he's made and things like that. In fact, somebody that I know has judged a cosplay contest with him, and he said the guy was real creepy. But it's all anecdotal. So I'm not going to make any judgments at this time. I'm just reporting what's out there.
Yeah. I mean, at this time, it's not our place to judge. You know, until it gets put into courts and all that and someone files a charge, I mean, really, no one can judge until, evidence is proven. I mean,
There's a lot of smoke out there, but
Yeah.
but it's pretty thin so far. So, Goose, I mean, you've seen some behavior go on at Comic Cons in your day.
Yes, I have.
Some by
And I want to make a joke, but I'm not going to because this is a serious matter.
yeah.
it
So-
is.
And I guess the other thing, too, Rooster Teeth is very, they like to have fun, but I would
Yeah.
assume they would have caught him quickly on something.
Yeah, I mean, I've had my picture taken with like Summer Glau and some of the I can't
Rose.
remember Rose Tyler from Doctor Who, and I put my arm around him every time, and they put their arm around me.
Well, same thing with Ben Affleck. He had his arms on us.
Yeah,
so
Ben Affleck and
he did
everything. So it's just tough to say.
Yeah.
But that'll wrap it up here for Goose, for Aaron, and for myself. I do want to thank our sponsors: Dragon's Lair, Alamo Ranch, Havoc, Laser Legend, and The Mailing Spot. You have embraced your inner geek, so make sure to get your geek on every single day.